So apparently, Australia's government is actually doing something good for a change about video games. And this is actually a good news story because it forces Valve to fix some issues that it's had. And it was already fixing the issues, but this kind of cements it and ensures that Valve had better fix its shit or prepare for more lawsuits, especially in worldwide countries. So Valve is guilty of breaching Australia consumer law. Valve's old refund policy wasn't correct in Australia. Essentially, what ended up happening is that there was a legal case, as this article says, back in 2014 that had came to an end recently. Man, that is a damn long time if you think about it. Almost 2.5 years later. Just remember, ladies and gentlemen, anytime you hear about something, someone, or, a big legal case happening, dude, it could end anywhere from 2 to 10 years later from when it began. There are ways of dragging out stuff. So I know a lot of people are like, oh my god, this company's getting sued. Oh my god, a good example is Gawker losing the Hulk Hogan lawsuit. And people saying, oh, Gawker's dead, Gawker's gone. But you have to realize that if Gawker's going to appeal the case, they can delay and delay and delay and delay that appeal. And they don't have to pay until that appeal actually occurs, because that's part of the legal process. And there's a whole lot of stuff to it. I'm not a barracks lawyer or anything, but you get the gist of it. They can push this stuff back and stay in business for years after they should have been out of business. So essentially what has happened is the Australia Competition and Consumer Commission, essentially it would be the Better Business Bureau here in the United States, and in the West it would be whatever your government says, hey, your product needs to be the product and you can't misadvertise. It's those guys. The company has made false or misleading representations under the Australian consumer law with its refund policy. This happened in 2014, but the refund system that Valve recently introduced was introduced in June 2015, not 2014. So obviously these guys over in Australia have the leg up. But Valve stated that its consumers are not entitled to refunds unless required by local law, which meant that it excluded restricted or modified statutory guarantees and or warranties that goods would not be of acceptable quality or would be of acceptable quality. Essentially, when you buy a product and you buy it here in the United States, every single product has a year warranty. Almost every single company does that. It's very rare to find a product without it. If you buy the product and it's not satisfactory, you can either take it back for a refund and exchange, or you can cash in the warranty if it's broken. So the guidelines that were outlined and the demands of Australia was that it had to be implemented 30 days within the successful court case. It was not done so September 2014. That means Valve was found guilty, but in its defense, Valve said that it did not officially conduct business in Australia, but provided an online store, that its Steam subscriber agreement is the law in Washington, USA, instead of Australia. But Australia didn't see it that way. Australia Federal Court disagreed, and Justice Edelman said that Valve was indeed doing business in Australia and thus was bound by its law. No fine has been decided at this time, but there is a chance that Valve is going to have to pay 75% of the legal costs on top of any liability. So that means 3/4 of what it cost to bring this court case to the courts and to bring the justice to Australia. They're going to have to pay that on top of whatever fine they decide to present. And this is essentially because Valve didn't want to give refunds for shitty PC games. See, Valve is just the host, and the people who put their shitty PC games on there, put them on there most of the time with full warnings, with full videos, with full trailers saying this is the game, this is what you're going to get if you buy it. And then people buy it, they don't like it, or it doesn't install, or it doesn't work, and then they don't get a refund because Valve didn't have the refund policy that it currently has. Even with its current refund policy, it's like jumping through a little bit of hoops to try and get a refund. You know, instead of just going into the store and saying, I want a refund for this straight up now. It's like, you know, you have to apply for a refund and you have to go through the arduous process, even though they have all your information on your account, which is, it's just annoying rather than being able to just go through a refund real quick. You see what I'm saying? So essentially, Valve's in trouble, and this should keep Valve from going back on its refund policy and going back on its shitty policies. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Do you think that Valve was in the wrong for this, or do you feel that Valve is A-okay? Leave your comments in the section below, and I've been your host, Protomario, and I'm signing out. As always, ladies and gentlemen, good gaming, and God bless.